Welcome back, everybody, to the Hearthstone Grandmasters for Americas. We had a little brief break. I washed my hands, and we're getting ready for the next match, Monsanto versus justsaiyan. Saiyan just won the series up against P and C after a very fun, aggressive Totem Shaman that summoned an extra copy of a Searing Totem. So that was a little bit of fun shenanigans going on there. After all that build up of Totem Shaman, it was just kind of like an aggro overload build that ended up getting over the finish line there. And now Saiyan will take on Monsanto, who looked like he had a little bit of a rough start versus Muzzy, but quickly recovered. And Monsanto, one of the reasons why I always enjoy watching him is that he is willing to take a different path to victory. I think most people have settled onto, like the level 1 strategy, or maybe even try to beat the level 1 strategy. Monsanto usually goes a little bit left field with what he tries to do. This dating back to season 1 of last year. And now, today, he has the same thing where he was banning everything but the mage, right? Like he was leaving up mage instead of the other classes that people were choosing. So this is pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And, we did see a lot of mage left up in the other regions, specifically Europe. Mage was left up a good amount of times. So maybe he's kind of on that line of thinking and that strategy. But mage still just seems like a really strong class overall. And harder to corner maybe than druid. But mage can die to early aggression, especially like a very fast early aggression like Murloc Paladin. And it can struggle against hunters. So if you're leaving hunter up on the other side and your mage is left up, you have a weak point there. So I can see players that are bringing like Highlander Hunter, for example, maybe leaving up mage. Like you have a couple good matchups against the mage, so you might want to leave it up and try and corner it as one of your opponent's last 2 decks. So definitely an interesting strategy, but I still think the jury's out on this one, whether or not it's a strategy that could pay off for him as we move forward in the series. But definitely one to keep our eye on.
Oh, for sure. As we continue to get ready for the next series, I do want to remind you about all the stuff happening on the Play Hearthstone website for the esports stuff. I'm following along like the deck lists and the schedules and the standings, playhearthstone.com/esports, so you can take a look at this head-to-head and see their deck list side by side, and the best part, copying the deck code so I can net deck and thank my opponent as I crush them with Monsanto and justsaiyan deck lists. It feels extra good. Monsanto's going to look like he's going to queue up the Murloc Paladin to start things off. Murloc Paladin came in clutch for Monsanto last time. Can he do it against Radiance player number 2, justsaiyan?
Does have the double Hunger Crab, but not necessarily the best in this deck, or versus Saiyan's lineup particularly, because Saiyan does not have the Murloc Paladin. He has Highlander Paladin, while there are Murlocs in there, and the Underlight Angling Rod in there. That in a deck like Murloc Paladin, you can't really have dead draws. There are opportunities for him to use it on small Murloc tokens in order to trade up from like a 2/1 or a 1/1 into a 3/4. That's an option, but then you kind of give up some of the Murloc synergies that the deck has. But I will not fault anybody for putting Hunger Crab in any deck this weekend, just because of how many Murlocs there actually are in the field, with Shamans having Sludge Slurper, maybe even expecting Shaman to play Murloc variants in general, and just how many Murloc Paladins there are, period, throughout the Paladin list that most of these players have. And Say's going to go for the Totem Shaman again. So we're going to start off with a good old-fashioned aggro mirror, quote-unquote, aggro mirror.
Yeah, and I think that the card to focus on here are none of the key cards, specifically in this matchup. These key cards are fun to look at, in particular with, the idea that you can copy a bunch of totems and make them really powerful. But I think the key card is Magic Carpet for Saiyan. There's not many comeback mechanics in this Paladin deck for Monsanto. So if he loses the board, if he gets crabbed, this could be a fast game in favor of the Shaman. Although, actually, hold on. The Shaman
There's
deck
no
doesn't
Hungry Crabs.
have Hungry Crab. He has Hungry Crabs in every other deck.
Yeah. Which is weird because, I mean, if he has 14 1-drops, why stop at 14? Why not go with 16 and just put a couple Hungry Crabs in the deck?
Right. I feel like you can get away with, taking out that shield bearer instead and playing a Hungry Crab, but who am I to judge?
The Og Merchant also. He has a Guardian Og Merchant in there.
Yeah, Og Merchant is reasonably good.
Yeah. I don't know. But this is going to live and die by these first couple turns.
Oh.
And Monsanto passes turn 1. This is the opening that Saiyan needs.
Well, if Saiyan plays the Evil Totem, that's the opening that Monsanto would want. But I think Saiyan knows about the Hogsteed and understands that he gets really far ahead, so doesn't want to just get blown out like that.
Yeah.
That was exactly the situation that we would see yesterday, where Gallon versus Purple. Gallon's like, oh, I have a Evil Totem, I can just grab the board. And then Purple just ripped the Hogsteed off the top and dunked him. 360 windmill slammed him.
With a Hogsteed. I mean, you're still playing a Hogsteed here. Every single point of damage and health on these boards in these first couple turns are crucial. Because if one key minion survives for either player, that's the opening that they need to snowball the game, since, as you mentioned, there's no comeback mechanics. Monsanto does have double Consecration in his Murloc Paladin list, so it seems like he's 100% tech for like mirror matchups with double Hungry Crab and double Consecration. But we'll see if that comes into play here, because Saiyan does have a lot of tools to kind of get things out of range of Consecration with Beaming Sidekick, with Storm's Wrath, and like just a Magic Carpet board. Magic Carpet feels impossible for Murloc Paladin to get through unless they already have a board when it's played.
Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder if this is a board worth using Storm's Wrath upon. You know that there's a threat of the the angling rod, and so this would keep your 2/4 safe from it. But it looks like Saiyan just wants to keep his mana flexible for now, because he might want to just portal on 3. These decisions can be kind of tough, and if Saiyan ends up taking a false step, the Murlocs will not hesitate to overwhelm him. So the Underlight Angling Rod, I was thinking about this turn, but Monsanto might feel like this is too slow development onto the board for him. There's not many better options here.
Yeah, and I think that's the reason why I like the Underlight Angling Rod, because there's not good options for plays, and Underlight Angling Rod could help you chip off the board for the next few turns and also find you better plays.
Oh yeah? Not going to clear off the Battle Mage, trying to make sure the board doesn't get too wide for Storm's Wrath.
Okay, the Imprisoned Sunkill is actually a great pickup. Because he has War Leader in hand. The only problem is he just needs to make sure that he doesn't get overrun in the 2 turns that's going to take to awaken. But he has a follow-up with Navigator and War Leader in hand, so...
The light protects me.
Saiyan commits to the Evil Totem. Part of me thought about the validity of just using your hero power to try to get a little bit more value and just fill out your curve in the following turns. I do worry that long-term Saiyan doesn't have enough mana, or rather doesn't have enough cards to use all of his mana crystals and just will get out-tempoed over time. But for now, he is ahead on the board.
Let me think.
Definitely a pretty stressful situation for Monsanto, but he does have the Hench Clan Hogsteed to help fight back immediately. Followed by Murgurgle.
Even says his name when he comes into play.
That's what all Murlocs do. Say their name as they get summoned and attack. Oh, another Serpent Shrine portal.
What about an Eye of the Storm? Dan, the late game insurance policy.
Eye of the Storm feels kind of like Colossus of the Moon for like the Pharaoh Cat situations that Rogue gets themselves into.
Yeah,
where
if
it's
you make
like,
it to that point, sure.
yeah, if you can guarantee that you make it to that point and like the game is even, then by all means it is like the best card that you have. But it feels a little bit too optimistic.
Yeah.
So I do like this Serpent Shrine. Oh my. Monsanto with some expensive Murlocs in the hand.
Yeah, another Felfin Navigator. Now, the Imprisoned Filefin actually synergizes really well with those cards. It's just, does he have time to play them? I mean, he's got like decent plays this turn, right? He's got Hand of a Doll, which can fish for something else to play, and he can also value trade over the Battle Mage.
Right. He can fish Flinger.
I just don't know if you want to give your opponent like a playable card.
It's true. You know that one of the 4 cards in hand is the coin, and
Buddy.
you know that your opponent discovered a spell, so it looked like it could be that Saiyan's struggling to find like an actual meaningful curve.
But he has Hunger Crab, so if you give him a playable card, and it's enticing, and Saiyan does play the Murloc onto the board, he's got the Hunger Crab to answer. Ooh, another Imprisoned Sungill, huh? Things are starting to look up for Monsanto, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, let's see what this portal can potentially generate here, unless Saiyan thinks otherwise.
I don't even know if Saiyan's going to get baited into playing a Murloc. He knows the crabs are there.
It does feel like a good opportunity to play Surging Tempest now that you are overloaded.
Yeah.
Go off the Murloc as well, stop the Murloc War Leader. And it kind of is what you're saying. He might be dependent on playing a Murloc soon and get Hungry Crabbed.
So this seems like a Tidecaller, Vilefin, and Felfin turn, and the next turn, once his first Imprisoned Sungill awakens, that's on the board, he follows that up with War Leader plus the other Navigator. That would fill his curve. Obviously, Hungry Crab might need to come down somewhere in that turn, since Saiyan's pretty much out of stuff except for Murlocs. But this is a big push onto the board.
Soon it'll be a big push on the board.
Yeah, soon.
Oh my goodness! Non-stop portals.
I feel like he's played like 4 of those already.
Be his 3rd portal. But Saiyan also knows about what is coming. Like, why is my opponent playing so many Sungills? Is because he's gearing up for a big swing onto the board. Shrine portals, summons.
Ooh. The Scarab.
Yeah. Is this a time to use Storm's Wrath here? I don't think so. At the same time, it is a wide board.
Yeah, this is the rest of his minions. If his board gets picked apart at all, say it looks like he's on
the overload
like
means
just
that
a couple
he
more
doesn't...
turns.
Yeah, sorry. His overload means that he doesn't also have Bloodlust, so this is like a very difficult spot for Saiyan. If his board gets picked apart, I think it's game over. And Monsanto with the Hunger Crab plus the Navigator isn't enough to swing the board just yet. And Vicina is still a really powerful draw here for Saiyan, because Vicina is effectively that Bloodlust-like card where you just play it and you start pushing damage.
Is it lethal with the Vicina draw? Because there's not a great way to get through this. So he would clear off the Sludge Slurper, but he wouldn't kill the Arcane Amplifier.
He can if he... Oh, yeah, it would require...
It would be lethal, actually.
Yeah, it would be lethal. Also, the weapon damages himself as well.
Yeah, so it would be lethal with Vicina off the top, but I think that's the only card. Because, like you mentioned, Bloodlust, there's not enough mana for it. Ooh.
Right. So now if you're saying, is there a way they can set yourself up to get lucky? Because right now, he's clearly lost the board. He's not going to get it back.
Yeah. He has one more Sludge Slurper in the deck, so
Okay.
he could get that plus a spell, plus a direct damage spell. He could draw Splitting Axe and kill over 2 turns, but I don't think he has that much time.
Yes, he has 11 damage right now, and he would have to draw specifically a Splitting Axe right now, actually. Like, his mana types, I don't have to pull it, or he would drop it on top of his deck.
Yeah. Is trading? Does he ever win if he trades?
Nope.
No. And also by trading, he just opens up more board space for the Imprisoned Sun Gill.
Oof. Bloodlust a little late here. Murgurgle Prime finds the way into the hand. If I'm Monsanto, that looks great. You can trade down and then play Murgurgle Prime. Now, what's the best way to optimize
Let
this?
me
That's something
think.
that Monsanto's going to spend the rest of his turn thinking. Also, I wouldn't hate a War Leader setup either. Both are great,
Yeah.
but I think the Murgurgle Prime offers potential game-ending damage. We're clearly going to kill off all of these minions.
I mean, he's actually close to lethal this turn. He has 26, I think.
Oh, you're right. He has a lot of damage just in the Murloc leader, the War Leader buff.
Yeah.
So I think I'm okay with either line here for Monsanto. I don't know if there's any Murloc drawn off the top that can like immediately give him that game-ending damage, but this certainly helps the Felfin. And actually, what I like about this is that it doesn't give Saiyan the opportunity to draw the lethal here. There's no way for him to win anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really well done and spotted by Monsanto.
Just good sequencing overall.
Yep. And cuts Saiyan's outs from a few cards to 0. There was nothing Saiyan could do here.
No. Even if he drew Splitting Axe, he didn't have enough time since there's lethal on board. And no Serpent Shrine portals, no nothing. Even Shield Bearer wouldn't have put enough in the way.
That's
He
right.
died to the Shield Bearer.
Shield Bearer would just kind of just get destroyed by the Murloc. So Murloc Paladin, a class that, an archetype of Paladin that we weren't sure about, ends up getting the win. And Saiyan not playing any Hungry Crabs in his Shaman deck. He was hoping that he would get ahead of the Paladin, but even though he was able to get ahead, he wasn't able to stay ahead.
Yeah. And that's even with a relatively slow start for Monsanto. He really just kind of played, weaker minions for the curve. And I think like the Hungry Crab was a pretty big pickup, but he's running the double Hungry Crab, double Consecration. So you pick up any of those in that matchup when there's like Sludge Slurpers and you're giving the minions with Fish Flinger and everything's kind of vulnerable to 2 damage AoE, you're in a good spot. So we'll see what Saiyan's going to turn to next, if he's going to try with the Totem Shaman again.
Okay, well, I'm trying to look at what the Totem Shaman would specifically be good against for Monsanto. I guess is it the Hunter because it's like so much faster than Hunter, and Hunter doesn't have great AoE? Is it the Druid because he's trying to corner that, or does he feel favored in the Mirror? And it could be all of those things. So
Yeah, all of the above.
yeah, but at the same time, you're playing Shield Bearer and a bunch of 1-drops. It doesn't feel as reliable as an aggressive strategy as some of the other decks out there in the metagame. Kind of contrast the aggressive Shaman decks that we've seen with Demon Hunter, and you can see why people ban Demon Hunter and leave up Shaman.
Yeah. Demon Hunter was not played a single time in any region, I don't think, this week.
I believe it was played one time in Americas.
Or
Or one time, not America, sorry.
Not
one
in
time
Americas.
in a different region. I see a 100% win rate for Demon this weekend because they played one game versus Druid and won.
You're right. Who left up Demon Hunter?
Well, they did not leave it up after that.
Rogue played its first game today.
That's right.
In Europe.
Which means all 10 classes got a little bit of play this weekend. Some one game and some hundreds of games. The most popular deck, although I wouldn't necessarily call it popular, last pick of a lot of people's lineups is Shaman, and Shaman right now is firing at 45% a clip. That's not great. However, Paladin's been surprisingly okay. It's at a 50% win rate this weekend.
Nice.
Which is honestly like better than what you could hope for. It's better than Druids, better than Mage, better than Shaman, as we mentioned. So here we go, game number 2, the Shaman versus Shaman. And, you know, Monsanto with the full Murloc hate package.
Wow. Oh, so Lorinda just clarified this for us. He said, for Europe, there's a Demon Hunter game in the stats, but nobody left Demon Hunter up. He double-checked it with the admins and concluded that it was a misclick or just a misrepresented data tick in Battlefy. So it's unclear whether or not that game exists. He calls it Schrodinger's Demon Hunter.
No one really knows.
Yeah, no one really knows. But what's funny is that if it was some type of like data error, then it's funny that in that error, Demon Hunter still won in the one game.
The system just knows to simulate a win for Demon Hunter.
Yeah. Well, Dan, meanwhile, things have happened. Monsanto hunger crabbed his own minion, and yeah, he's got a 3/4 on board.
Jeez.
But he can't deal with the magic carpet.
Can't deal with it. Not yet. I don't know if there's a draw at the top that can help him with that.
No.
Tempo, hungry crab. Snap. You know, is Snip Snap and Hungry Crab kind of modeled off the same character?
Yeah, a crab.
Thank you, TJ. Witchy off of the Searing Totem evolves into a Bloodfin Raptor.
I'll take it.
Wait, I was lied to.
No. That was. Wait, what? You said you were lied to about what?
Yeah, I was told by Sato that Shaman invoke totems that are natural 2-drops.
The invoke.
Oh, the invoke, sorry.
So that's where confusion came in. So to clear up, it hasn't come up yet in this series, but to clear things up, Dan and I have been running off of misinformation, not only on the broadcast, but also in our own playtests.
Right.
We
just
assumed that the invoke token from Shaman's Galakron, the 2/1 with Rush, was a 1-drop, similar to the totems of Shaman, because the totems are kind of 1-drops for evolve purposes, or for any purpose. But the invoke tokens are counted as 2-drops. So we were talking about like Armor Smith outs that didn't exist because of that. We're also in our playtest talking about crazy outs from evolving tokens, and we never once realized that it was giving us 3-drops from the evolve. So the totems are 1-drops for evolve purposes. The invoke token, thank you, Sato, for correcting us on this, are 2-drops.
And I'm sure that us figuring it out again on broadcast has brought much needed validation for the Europe casters.
Yep.
Monsanto with the Farsight into a Mogu Flesh Eater, which kind of reverts it closer to the pre-nerf Mogu Flesh Eater, if you will. A little better, but still a little bit tough here for Monsanto. That being said, Saiyan does have a small opportunity to develop here. He could go for the Totemic Reflection. which honestly is not that bad, because you do get to develop 2 3/3s off the Searing Totem, and they do stand up rather well to the 2/1 rushes that can get invoked by the Shaman. I think that was to clarify.
But he also has Mana Tide in hand. If Mana Tide sticks onto the board next turn, then he gets Totem Reflection. That, which seems better, but it's also less immediate power. There's also just like the play of Blazing Battle Mage and rush it in, and that allows him to push more damage while still clearing off the board. So it looks like he's going to invest in this Mana Tide, and now this Mogu Flesh Shaper will cost 2. So with Shield of Galakrond, this Mogu Flesh Shaper is free. So that's 5 damage worth of rush. It doesn't line up particularly well, but at least the Mogu Flesh Shaper will be able to come down and get a trade over this board. And I wonder if he prioritizes the Mana Tide Totem or the Magic Carpet.
Gotta be Mana Tide Totem, because I think the punish of the Totemic Reflection is too severe, because then he starts to get ahead in card draw. And if I'm Monsanto, I'd probably change to the other totem as well.
Oh!
Okay, so Blazing Battle Mage does help get trades here.
But they're not,
It's not good.
trades.
Trades. Yeah. Wow, that Mogu Flesh Shaper coming down for free. Tough for Saiyan to come back from. Like we said, it's kind of like the old Mogu Flesh Shaper. Searing Totem again.
He's flabbergasted that he just keeps getting Searing Totem. Because Searing Totem would be the only totem that would die to the Mogu Flesh Shaper if he were to Totemic Reflection it, because it's at 3 health where the other ones would be at 4. So he was hoping that he could make the trades onto this Shield of Galakrond, Totemic Reflection, and Totem to have 2 2/4 totems on board, and then roll that into Splitting Axe next turn to try and take full control. And because of this, he has to go for what feels like a terrible play.
Yeah, it feels
but that's all he could do.
real weak.
Yeah.
And Monsanto's about to play actual minions soon. Kronks and Corrupt Elementalists. Both are viable options right now. They both put out
What to do?
reasonable amounts of stats. Corrupt Elementalist feels like you get the invoke out of the way, but it's a reactive card, which is why I think I like Corrupt Elementalist to stay in the hand, because you can rush things into evil totems and other things like that. While the Kronks is still a 6/6. I guess the benefit of doing this now is there's no totem for Saiyan copy here. And Totem Shaman, without totems on the board, is a sad shaman.
That's what he wanted last turn.
Right. Although, based off what we saw, Saiyan would have still been stuck in an awkward situation.
Well, I don't know about
Wrath.
If he gets Stoneclaw Totem last turn, he would have gone with the Totemic Reflection last turn.
You're right.
The Mogu Flesh Shaper would not have been able to trade over. He would only have been able to kill one of the totems, and the Magic Carpet would have still been alive.
Hope you like my invention.
Mogu Flesh Shaper number 2.
Is a totem going to live? A totem's going to live.
Unless... Yeah, unless I'm missing something. I'm gonna have this Totemic Reflection finally come down! TJ!
It's happening!
The Totemic Reflection!
It's happening!
He gets another one as a 5/5.
And he gets to kill the Flesh Shaper! And push 5!
With
Is this a
Bloodlust in
lethal
hand.
setup? That's 13 plus 9? It's a one-off!
Oh,
Okay, well, it doesn't matter.
Galakrond off the top.
Oh, it was so close.
Wow, Monsanto
I really want to see the
giggling
next
to
draw.
himself because he dodged a bullet.
It would have been lethal.
Wow.
Well,
Wow.
let's plus Serpentine Portal.
Wow. And Monsanto has the Crocs clear. What a top deck from Monsanto. The actual nuts.
Return is nigh.
That's
Wow.
it. Saiyans dead. 2-0 Monsanto.
Win this
I just feel like, Dan, the game just doesn't want Totem Shaman to win.
It feels like all things are going against him. Monsanto was like smiling because he realized that he stole one from Saiyan. That one was daylight robbery.
Yeah.
The Totem Shaman.
Yeah, because he would have had to have a full turn of developing Kronks if he wanted Galakrond, or he would have had to make a weak play on board, like play a double, like Dread Corsairs or something along those lines to just protect himself from Bloodlust. So a game could have been different, but I don't know. I can't help but have this narrative in my head of every time it's one player playing Totem Shaman, the other player playing anything, where I just can't help but root for the Totem Shaman player, and the player that's not playing Totem Shaman is the villain. Regardless of how I feel about the matchup or how it's playing out or the players playing, and no matter how much I try to not be biased, the person playing the Totem Shaman is the protagonist. And
right.
the villain is whatever is on the other side of the Totem
Yeah.
Shaman.
Totem Shaman is like the main character of an anime, TJ.
Yeah, which means that we're going to get to Sunday, and we're going to come down to the finals. It's going to be Game 5, Totem Shaman versus something. That's the only way that this could end.
That's right.
Which means that we have to get a Totem Shaman to the finals.
He draws Totemic Might. This card is useless. Well, Saiyan keeps the True Silver Champion. All right. I wasn't expecting that. On the play, nonetheless.
Job's done.
And I think Saiyan was really hoping for a 1-mana minion to play, but he got pretty conservative with his mulligan. So with one draw, it didn't seem like it was likely for him to get it.
Doesn't have that many playable ones in the deck, I suppose.
I mean, even if you don't get the battle cry off, you still would probably want to play things like Guardian Og Merchant, but yeah, he does have fewer 1-drops because he does have more mid-range options.
Mm-hmm. I'm
Honestly,
curious if that'll help him in this matchup.
yeah, I was about to say that it feels fairly comparable to the Highlander Hunter.
I move quickly.
Interesting spot here. Saiyan does have an opportunity to play Zephyrus, and Zephyrus would offer him Soulfire to help win back the board.
Yeah.
Wonder what else
Maybe.
it offers. Maybe like
Blessing of Might, Holy Smite. Oh, Inner Rage!
oh,
Fork Lightning!
Forked Lightning.
So
Zephyrus.
I was expecting like Backstab, yes.
Right.
And then like Fork Lightning, or Blessing of Might, Holy Smite, or Soulfire.
Right, yeah, like any
But
of
Fork
those.
Lightning is clean.
Yes. That is some galactic brain Zephyrus plays there.
Yeah.
I think Saiyan looks surprised about Fork Lightning. I think he was thinking about Backstab or other cards like that too, and then just like, huh, that's right, this is a card in Hearthstone.
Zephyrus, you beautiful, beautiful beast.
Best time to play Shaman cards are when you're not playing Shaman.
Amen.
And if Monsanto plays any weapon here, the Acidic Swamp Ooze comes up huge.
Now this is a curve right here. He's got 2 weapons though, so he's got follow-up if one weapon gets destroyed. But maybe that's the tempo that Saiyan needs.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, Monsanto has a reactive hand. It's almost like he's playing a Quest Hunter type type hand here. Got
Yeah.
Swarm of Locust, Unleash the Beast, Desert Spear. But this is not a hunter deck that plays in Seal the Vaults, which converts your hero power into a give your minions +2 attack from the Seers of Oldham expansion. This is a Highlander hunter that thrives off of Downward Tamer Brand. And the ooze comes down. But Monsanto still has his best weapon in the hand. The only problem is that it takes another turn to develop it. And is it too late by then? Does Saiyan seize the board? And I would say probably not, because he does have the Swarm of Locusts to help answer something. This Diving Griffin from Monsanto picked up on turn 4. Just have the ability to pick up a few rushers here. Oh, sorry, a few beasts.
Is that better than the Stormhammer? That's kind of the question, I think.
Well, Ooze has been played already, so makes me more confident about it. And Diving Griffin can still fill out a curve in the following turns, so I do like setting up the weapon here. Saiyan does have an opportunity with this Sand Wasp Queen to go wide now. Go very wide and make it so that Monsanto has to answer with Unleash the Hounds or let Saiyan develop this Pharaoh's Blessing. This Unleash the Hounds is looking very good.
Oh, yeah.
What else do you really want from Unleash the Hounds?
No, this is this is it. You could sure you could save it for Varanus and like the super late portions of the game, but leaving things up going into turn 6 seems like a poor choice because of the Pharaoh's Blessing. I mean, there is the possibility of Waste Warden actually.
Right. Waste Warden, because a couple of these are beasts, would end up hitting multiple of them. You could convince me that Big Ol' Whelp is the correct play here. I think that while it is mana efficient, it feels too easy to get punished in a multitude of ways.
Yeah. Unleash is just too clean. Ugh, yikes.
Yeah, and a pretty awful turn here for Saiyan in terms of what he wanted to develop. Half his hand is deactivated unless he plays something. He can hero power and play the Choose-Over Champion set up for a reactive turn with a Waste Warden on turn 7, but everything was kind of leaning towards him setting up a good Pharaoh's Blessing to give a +4/+4 buff and Divine Shield and Taunt.
Yeah,
He's not going to get that, though.
and playing the Sand Wasp here means he doesn't have the option of going Sand Wasp, Pharaoh's Blessing next turn. So it looks like his only real option is to go for this hero power or Choose-Over Champion, because every other play just... Even though this play is weak onto the board, every other play shuts off other things that he'd want to do.
And if I'm Monsanto, I'm actually thinking about the merit of just playing Swarm of Locusts here to just get wide board presence.
Yep. Yep.
It also saves me the pain of leaving up this 1/1 and swinging into it. You could play Big Ol' Whelp and also just swing into the 1/1. It's about similar stats, because if you play Swarm of the Locusts, you get 6 1/1s, versus the Big Ol' Whelp gives you a 5/5, and you get to draw a card deeper. But I like that Swarm of the Locust start to challenge a lot of the things that the Paladin can do. Yeah, this works too. This actually ends up being better if he knew that was going to happen. Oh, hold on. He's waiting. He's waiting and evaluating if he wants to use on his own minion instead. Yeah.
This is starting to become a little bit of a weird game.
This is
Both players kind of operating with like a good early game curve. They were just kind of answering each other, and now we're starting to get to the big meat and see who just has the more powerful stuff,
right.
to be able to pull ahead on board. And you know, if I'm gonna have to choose which deck has more powerful stuff than the other, I'm gonna choose the Hunter deck, especially since with just the hero power, they put a clock. I mean, just Stormhammer by itself. Like, look at that weapon compared to True Silver Champion.
Yeah. Saiyan has Waste Warden to help damage that dragon and kill it. Does he play the Hand of a Doll after? He might hero power, but then that gets cleared off on the board. Once again, Monsanto gets to develop proactively here.
Especially now that he's seen Waste Warden, Sword of Locust becomes even more valuable. But a dragon that fits the curve for Stormhammer to be able to keep swinging away.
Yeah, Diving Griffin and Evasive Fellwing looks really good here. They're a better play. Diving Griffin can pick up like Zigzor and other minions like that. But I don't know if that ends up changing the play much. The good thing about the Fellwing too is that you get to once again swing with your Stormhammer, and that's one of the most important aspects of Hunter these days. Is that Stormhammer seems to generate what feels like infinite value by swinging non-stop.
Time moves quickly.
And Monsanto bring it all the way down. Looks like he's going to go with the Swarm of Locusts instead. So he's weighed his options.
Yeah, with Waste Warden gone, that seems...
I think
good.
This is the best play against Tyrion.
Yeah, holding on to Diving Griffin. Mm-hmm.
Right. So holding on to Diving Griffin, and then, you know, like, if he played Evasive Fellwing and then was answered by Tyrion, not only would the Fellwing not trade well into Tyrion, but Saiyan still has his weapon swing. I think that's something to consider as a factor. So, overall, I like, again, where Monsanto's head's at. Oh, boy! Saiyan's not going to overreact and immediately rip the Consecration, but it looks good. It looks real good.
Problem is, he still feels behind because the Stormhammer will answer his Sand Wasp.
Quickly.
What's the alternative? Blessing of Kings here? Get blown up by Rottnest Drake.
You get blown up by Rottnest Drake or Varanus or Zephyrus. I mean, I guess Zephyrus was just kind of blows up the game no matter what.
Oh, wow. Okay, so Saiyan's making a play to win the game, and this is not going to work out. Monsanto is going to use this Varanus, completely destroy it. And while Monsanto has been very meticulous about a lot of the plays, this one he didn't have to think much about.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. This is probably the end here. We're thinking if you want to play this Fairy Dragon.
Okay. Well, I mean, Libram of Justice plus Consecration.
Oh, yeah. That is the reason why you would hold on to it. Libram of Justice.
Well, Consecration would answer it no matter what.
Well, I'm guessing he was saying that he would keep it as an option in his back pocket in case Monsanto developed, like, King Crush, right? Like, if he drew Downward Tamer Brand, he had the answer to it. That being said, it's still not any easier to handle the Hunter aggression.
Yeah. Well, okay, so Saiyan has Magic Carpet plus Pharaoh's Blessing next turn, which is a 5/10 with Divine Shield and Taunt. Now, obviously, that's incredibly weak to Rottnest Drake, but maybe that's his out here. Especially if he picks up a 1-drop. You can also go for Air Raid plus Pharaoh's Blessing and a Hero Power.
Right. So it helps, but doesn't really tackle the core issues that Saiyan is behind, and he needs to find a way to win back the board without taking too much damage. I would even say that he has to pick off this Diving Griffin with his weapon and go down to 8 life, but
yeah,
that really stinks, because if he doesn't, then the Pharaoh's Blessing gets challenged much easier. And I think he's completely dependent on this Pharaoh's Blessing to close it out here.
Move quickly.
All right, build a big carpet.
All right, hoping for no removal off the top. It's a Rotten Drake, but no dragon.
Woo!
But he can use
Clear
the
it.
Zixor here. Zixor plus the Waste Warden plus the swings kill off the magic carpet here. That's a lot of resource commitment, but hey, got to get that magic carpet off the board, and now Saiyan's down to his last draw here, effectively.
Yeah, because he's still going to stick a 3/3 on board, and he still gets to hold on to the swing of his Stormhammer.
Right.
As long as he sequences it properly, which...
And he trades the Fellwing by accident.
Yeah.
He doesn't have lethal on if the 3/3 dies. He'd be 1 damage off. But Saiyan doesn't have anything good.
Nope. I mean, he could put some taunts in the way.
Reporting for duty.
Unleash the
Several.
Hounds is gone.
That's right. Swarm of Locusts is gone. It would purely be Zephyrus.
And Monsanto's at 9.
Job's done. Reporting for duty.
Yeah, you know, this is the Testament. It's still very effective.
Saiyan's like, I'm all in.
He's gonna put it on his
He just threw the Blessing Wisdom on there.
Oh, wait!
Oh, jeez.
Dragonbane.
So let's count this. Monsanto can clear off 3 of these if he swings the weapon. And Hero Power is 1 down. And then Saiyan's representing... Not enough. 4, 5, 6 damage.
Right. So this is a 1 in 5 to win the game right now. Kills off the history. Kills off the history buff.
Well, I mean,
He's not
didn't
dead.
kill off the draw.
Oh, he has 1 damage off. He didn't kill the history. He can draw. He can draw with the Blessing of Wisdom.
Yep. So you draw first. He could also pick up Bluegill Warrior from the Underlight Angling Rod.
Right.
Oh no!
Gosh.
It comes down to a Bluegill Warrior.
Well, he's still
He's very
potentially
dead.
not dead.
He's very dead. He's 100% dead.
Are you
If he do-
sure? He can swing into the crab.
He could swing into the crab. Okay, not 100% dead. Yeah.
Right. He can swing into the crab.
He could and then they'd be 1 damage off.
Well, it's very unlikely he gets the Bluegill Warrior.
Must move quickly.
Very unlikely.
He's gonna do
All right,
it.
so he's swinging. All right.
What does he
And then
get?
you-
The
Then you
Murloc.
flood the board.
Oh, he gets the Bluegill Warrior! He should have done it!
No!
Say it! You
No!
didn't believe!
No!
He didn't believe! Monsanto's like, oh my god. And Monsanto, he is not out of the woods yet either.
No way! No way! Scavenger's Ingenuity that picks up
draws the
Zixor Prime.
right? It
Yep.
does!
No, he didn't believe. He didn't trust.
Saiyan!
You
Why?
have to trust.
Oh, wow. What a conclusion to that series. Monsanto wins 3-0. And could have been a continuation of this series, as that was a nail biter to close out game 3. But a lot of what ifs, TJ. A lot of what ifs.
That was the correct play.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was the correct play.
Just do a search into how many Murlocs. I'm actually going to do that right now as we get ready for match number 4. We're going to roll into it. How many Murlocs do you think are in standard right now?
Maybe a minute or two.
So there's 1 in Demon Hunter, 6 in Paladin. Oh, no, sorry. There's 5 in Paladin. 4 in Paladin. Just keep reading the cards that says Murlocs. 3 in Shaman. 8. Then 1, 2, 3, 6. 12, 15. Minus 1, 14. 13. So, 19 or 20 Murlocs in the
20.
pool. Somewhere around there.
Exactly 20.
Okay, so around that number. Saiyan,
so 5%.
Saiyan has a 5%, roughly 4 to 5%, maybe even higher slightly if we miscounted. To land exactly that.
He could have also gotten Sir Finley of the Sands and gotten Ballista Shot.
The draw... Oh, yeah, you're right, because he's playing a Highlander Paladin.
Yeah. Oh, no, because... no, that wouldn't have been enough. Because once he attacked with the draw, he had 2 damage left on board, so Ballista Shot wouldn't be enough.
Right.
He could get Sir Finley of the Sands and get the life tap and then pick up...
Yeah, or like,
something,
heal or something like that.
Yeah. Pick up a heal or something along those lines. That could have opened up some options. Sludge Slurper into Kobold Lackey.
Yeah. Wow, what a dramatic finish to that series! But yeah, a lot of questions going into it. Now, Sam will await the winner of Muzzy and PNC as we roll into our next series here. Looks like the